now we have added an instance to the product. We can look through how the product works around this instance and monitoring of this instance. So what we can see, we have added one instance in the development group, and the different instances will show up in this tree structure on the side. We have just one instance added, and this is currently in alarm state. I can see that because it's red. That means that at least one job on this instance has an alarm. In the overview, we can see the different alarms we have. We have database status alarm, and we have database backup, and we have some warnings on autogrow settings, database backup of system databases, and instance memory check. And this overview allows us to see the group, the instance name, the monitoring job that has an issue, the current status, when the status occurred, and a short detail on what the problem is. If you select one and click twice, you'll see a longer description on the problem. And also, if you right-click on this, you can run the details to get a detailed report on this specific issue. So this is a great overview to see all the alarms and warnings on all the instances that are in this selection. So if you selected development, you would only see the issues in the development group. Underneath, you have the status overview for if you have instances in lost connection, which means that dbWatch have lost connection to the instance and it's not possible to reconnect. And you have instances that are in alarm state, and you have instances in warning state, which is this orange, and you have instances that are all okay, which means that all the jobs have no warnings or alarms. And you can have instances that are in the section of not monitored, which means that they're added for management or reporting purposes only. From this view, you can also have the list of instances will give you the current status, the name of the instance, the platform it's running on, the edition of this platform, the host name or IP address, when this instance has started, the number of current sessions, disk usage, memory usage, the number of databases, and also a component metric for the activity level of this instance. We can also drill down into the individual instance. So if we select the instance, we can see that we have information on top here, which is almost the same information that you have in the instance list. We'll have a section here for the different alarms and warnings. And the different monitoring jobs are grouped in availability, capacity, maintenance, and performance. And there could be additional groups here depending on what's installed. In dbWatch, we differentiate between jobs with status and jobs without status. And jobs without status are monitoring jobs that only gather data for reporting purposes or capacity planning, performance analysis, etc. The jobs with status are the jobs that generate warnings or alarms when something has reached a certain threshold. In this overview, you can see if there is a note on the job, and notes are notes that are made by DBAs. It could be information about a certain job on this instance that have a specific way to fixing the issue, or something that is known to other DBAs, etc. You will have status. So currently it is in alarm, and we also have a cross here, which means that previous checks also resulted in alarm or warning. So there's unchecked alarms. You'll have also the name of the monitoring job. This is a short reference to the kind of metric that this monitoring job looks into. So database backups. Last time it is run on the system, it's schedule, and this is a cron tab-like format and can be, of course, adjusted later on. There is also examples where, but not on this instance, you can have other types of schedule. The next schedule runtime for this job and some detail about the problem or the status of this metric. When you right-click, you have a number of options where you can run the job outside of its schedule. You can open the detailed report. You can open the configuration for this job, and this gives you the opportunity to adjust the monitoring for this specific instance. You can set the schedule, and this allows you to adjust when this is run. So most of the jobs have a cron tab-like schedule, but you can also have jobs running on interval schedule, so every 2 hours, etc. You have also the opportunity to disable, or if it's disabled already, enable the job. You can add notes to the job, and the notes can either be notes that are for yourself. These are encrypted on the file system of the dbWatch server. Or you can have entries here in the dialog window, which is information you give to other DBAs. And in this view, you also have system information if you have enabled or disabled the job. So if I go up here and disable the job, some problem here. So then this job will turn out to be gray shortly. So if you can also click here to refresh, yeah. And if we then go to notes, we will see in the system notes that this has manually been disabled by my user. So I'm logged in with a user called admin with a message. And this creates a trail of what has happened when it comes to monitoring on the system that can be retrieved later on. Also, you will have notes here that kind of summarize the information about the instance and the actions on this instance. On this list, we also have the acknowledgement history, and this is an overview of problems that has happened with this monitoring before. So we can see that this has run several times, and there has been issues on the system multiple times. And this allows you to acknowledge the historical errors, so that if a job has went into alarm state and then went back to OK, there will be a record of the problems that this monitoring job had previously. So we can choose to acknowledge these problems and save, and then they will disappear from the view. But it's also possible to see it later on. If you change to show all here, for instance, you'll see that these are all acknowledged errors. And this allows you to keep track of issues you had in on a monitoring job previously, to allow you to better understand how this problem and when it occurs on the system. So now you see that while it's still in alarm state, the history of previous errors have been removed. You can also choose to use the Acknowledge All button choice here. That does the same that I did, acknowledge all the previous errors, but in an easier step. Most of the monitoring jobs you find here also has the possibility to change them in the editor. And the editor allows you to see what is done when it comes to this monitoring, and also have in-depth view of how this procedures and how we monitor this specific metrics. And this monitoring, this job editor is also something that can be used to create your own monitoring jobs. So you can use the monitoring jobs that are provided as examples, and you can save as new. It will allow you to change the things that are conflicting between this and the new task, and then continue development on this to suit your needs. Or you can start with a fresh job and create contents. You also have the option to copy the row, which is all the data on this row, or copy row with header, and then we'll get the status and name and last run, etc. So that's a quick introduction to the monitoring. There is a lot of monitoring jobs here. If you want to change this, you can select configure jobs, and then you will be allowed to add or remove jobs from the jobs library. So as you see on this database instance, there is a lot of jobs that are not added. The ones that are black are not added. The green ones are added. So there is a lot of monitoring jobs to select from, and that allows you to have the best possible monitoring for the instances that you manage. You can also create templates that are monitoring a set of monitoring jobs and their configuration, and this is better looked into in a separate video, but it allows you to have a specific set of monitoring jobs and their configuration across a lot of instances. So that's quickly into monitoring, and I'll see you back in another video. Thank you. dbWatch Control Center, redefining database operations. Please visit us at Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or YouTube.